Hey guys, welcome to Captain German Exploring YouTube channel. Today we have a great opportunity to record interview with Eric Bauhaus, the very famous author of book Panama Cruising Guide. This book, Panama Cruising Guide, is the best cruising guide which I keep in my hands. By the way, I would like to remind you, this is my second round the world and I have a tons of book in my boat. And this one I definitely can recommend as a reference to another book authors, how to make a cruising guide properly. When I was first time in Panama, maybe 5 years ago, I crossed Panama Canal and decided to stay a few weeks in a Pacific side. In the Pacific side I met the old man with a white beard and invited him to have a cup of coffee. And within 2 weeks he told me a lot of stories about Pacific side of Panama, about local culture, local islands, about Columbus time artifacts and many other very interesting things. At the end, when I had to go, he offered me to buy a Panama Cruising Guide. Of course I did it. After Panama, I was heading to Costa Rica, and in a Panamanian water, I used Panama Cruising Guide by Eric Bauhaus. Let's go to Eric's boat and ask him a questions about Panama Cruising Guide. It is a 5th edition, and now he's working on 6th edition, and another project he has. Let's go. Guys, I want to introduce you Eric Bauhaus, very famous author of Panama Cruising Guide. So, Eric,
how are you doing?
I'm fine, and I hope you are fine.
Okay.
First of all, that's Eric's book. Yes.
How it came to being?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
from a zero to hero, like from a beginning, why you decide to
Exactly.
be in Panama?
Yeah, well, it's not like I decided. I think most people that come to Panama don't really, they come with the idea of crossing the canal and continuing, and
Yes.
and then people get stuck. They find out it's much nicer than they thought, and there's much more to it than just a canal. So, yeah, this was kind of my story here too. I came here originally with my parents, and then we got stuck here. I started fixing an old boat and sailing the San Blas. And there were no charts at all in some places, and we hit the reef quite often. You know, we hit the reef really hard. And it was actually quite stressful. You would be like, wow, you never know when the last moment would be. Luckily we had a steel boat, otherwise we'd have lost it.
So if you have a steel boat, you don't need charts.
Yeah, well, if you have a steel boat and you're lucky, yeah. So I started doing the cruising guide, which is, this is the 5th edition. There have been 4 previous ones. So the first one was much smaller, and started doing the cartography. You know, like most people that do cruising guides, they basically just write, okay, this is a nice place to anchor, but they don't produce the underlying charts. They will copy these from government institutes. So in Panama, they have never made any charts. The government here has never made a single chart.
But which charts do you have? It's like open CPN or something like this?
No, I actually made the charts from scratch. So you start with a blank paper, with a blank computer,
Yeah.
and start surveying. So you go up and down with the boat,
Yeah, I saw you have this.
The big
machine.
triangle.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's hanging back there.
I'll show you this triangle for a survey.
What-
Okay,
what-
because I would like to see how it works.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, this is basically, I'm always trying to develop new ways of doing things because usually, like a hydrographic office, you know, has a lot of people and a lot of resources. Well, I have to do by myself, so you have to do it more efficiently and faster.
Uh-huh.
No.
Do you do it with a dinghy?
Yeah, I do it with a boat. I do it with a dinghy. Depending, I have a fast dinghy, you know,
Uh-huh.
so it can go like 30 knots, and
It works fine.
yeah. It records sonar all the time, GPS, and then satellite images. If you look at, it's got a lot of aerial photos, but a lot of these pictures were taken with a
Helicopter.
no, yeah, some were with a helicopter, but many were with a kite. It's like it's like an airfoil I made.
Yeah.
So it goes up on a long Dyneema line. So it goes 4 kilometers up, yeah, and has a rotating camera. So it takes
okay.
pictures every second, dang, 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 yeah. So then I can, after with software, you can flatten it out. So, and it can actually,
I did not see it in a book. I saw only photos with a helicopter.
yeah, they often look like a helicopter, but like all these pictures are actually taken from the kite.
Ah, really?
Yeah, look, there's the boat. You see, there's the speedboat,
Yes.
and the kite's up here.
How cool.
This one here, you see there the boat,
Yes, yes.
You see it there?
Yes, yes.
and the kite's up here.
Ah, okay. It's a long one.
Yeah,
It
4
works.
kilometers.
4 kilometers.
Yeah, and it works because when I started doing this book, there were no drones, right? So
Yes, yes.
yeah, and still today I prefer this to the drone because the drone, it runs out of battery pretty soon. Like you can fly half an hour and that's it. While this thing, you can leave it up all day. You can leave it up while you're surveying. You can have the rotating
Can
camera.
you get information from a drone immediately
in real
or you
time?
just real?
I record, yeah. I don't
okay.
really. Sometimes what I do a first pass, where you get more or less an idea, and then second pass to get more detail.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, and
It's a very complicated way.
so you can see it here. You see?
Yeah. I see only any photo. It is some photo of boats.
Yeah. This is because it's back here. See, so I'm giving you all the secrets.
So you can make the same if you want.
Exactly.
But you will be fine because 4 kilometers drone. Do it close to the airport.
Yeah, exactly. And then what you end up with is kind of like a digital 3D model of the bottom. And so this is like an intermediate step, and then from there you make the actual chart. Yeah.
Ah, okay. But do you have a record of depths?
Yeah.
Like this. So
Exactly.
it is a shape and a depth record.
Yeah, it's a 3D surface of the bottom.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Which software or which?
There's different ones. I actually used one Russian one. One a long time ago it was called 3DF. It's made by a Russian programmer. And there's different softwares I've used throughout different years.
Okay, got it.
And then the next thing is like the interpolation. I don't want to go into technical details here, but what happens a lot, say you have one survey line here, one survey line here, and they will always, the shallower the water is, the harder it is to survey, to make charts. Because
okay.
if the water, the sonar beam has an angle, let's say
Yes, exactly.
45
Yeah,
degrees.
yeah.
Yeah. So if you're in 1 meter water, you will only cover 1 meter width. If you're in
Yes.
1,000 meter water, you will cover 1,000 meter width.
Okay, so you have just narrow lines
Yeah.
if it is a shallow and you need to
Exactly. It
move
becomes
like-
much more difficult.
Okay.
So often there's holes in the data, right? So then you have to interpolate.
But I saw your charts is very detailed. It's very good because all charts which I have right now,
On the
I
machine.
don't
okay.
have so many details on it.
Yeah. Well, obviously, because the people that make the nav console, they don't survey. They
Yes,
just take the
exactly.
information that exists, and in this case, often the information is 100 or 200 years old.
Yeah, exactly. So what I thought it is it looks like OpenCPN. So I think it's like something, but maybe it is some more details you get.
Yeah.
And maybe add some details. But if it is from a blank page, it's amazing.
Yeah. Often I start with a blank page. I mean, some areas the charts are good, like the Panama Canal. Obviously, it's good.
No, Panama Canal, yes,
Yeah.
because it's a different.
And then you don't.
They dig it. You can see the surface without the water.
Yeah. And since we have it, like now, it's much easier to like from this rock I found years later. I didn't know this one exists. This is in the Pacific. So.
Is it small one?
Yeah, you always find new stuff. Like I actually had a story. It's a funny story. If you hit a rock using the Panama Cruising guide, you will have your name of your boat for that rock. Yeah.
Lucky you. You can be in a book.
And I'll show you a boat called Neko lost their rudder on a rock. And
its name.
It's named Neko Rock.
Neka.
The Neko Rock. I'll show you. See here?
Yeah. Neka Rudder Rock.
So the guy, he hit. This was the rock I didn't find.
Uh-huh.
And he hit this, and he said, "Look, at least I hit the rock with your chart. Now at least I want to have my name on the chart."
Yeah.
So I said, "Okay, next edition you have the
Why
name."
he decided to pass here?
Yeah, this was
I've
very.
been here, so I just do it.
Of course,
all
me too.
around.
That was very
Why?
foolish to go so close.
Yes, because it's too shallow. It is a two-part and
Yeah.
two reefs.
Yeah, very, very foolish.
Why? Yeah, that's okay. That's a good way to have your name in a book. From a beginning until you get your first cruising guide.
Yeah.
How many?
Maybe
days?
1 year.
1 year.
Yeah. But this was like a very basic one. Yeah, the first edition didn't have many charts. The charts were not good at
It
all.
was like a regular cruising guide, like you know.
Yeah, worse.
Do you have it?
I don't have it here. I have a few copies still.
No, just to look, maybe to
Yeah,
take a few photos.
No, I don't have it here. I have it.
5th edition. Is
Exactly.
it the last one or you?
I
have
hope
it?
it's not the last.
But for a present time.
Oh, this is the most recent one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this is the updated one.
Because I have a 5th edition.
Yeah, this is
as
a good
well.
one. Yeah.
And do you have anything to add in a 6th edition?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I have new photos. I have some new charts. I'm basically like at this point always just updating. You know.
Yes.
So one thing I'm doing now, I'm working on an electronic version, because this is the paper version, and many people have a scanned copy version, you know, right, on the OpenCPN.
I don't know. I don't use it, but you will tell me
Yeah,
how
well-
to use, because I'm using just OpenCPN of this area, and mostly I'm not use OpenCPN. It's like a second
Okay,
way.
but
to check.
what charts do you have on it?
Navionics, iSailor, and Garmin.
Okay, well, a lot of people have scanned the book, and I probably shouldn't say this, but people have done this and copied it and used it on the CPN. Yeah.
Ah, okay. They just add with all the coordinates.
exactly. Yeah.
Ah,
They-
okay.
So I cannot guarantee how precise these are. They could be wrong, because there's just people
that's
that.
definitely wrong way, because
Yeah.
it's like
There's a
kind of
piracy.
stealing.
Yeah.
it's just-
But at the same time, I can understand people who want the electronic version, because I use it electronically too. You know, they want to have this on their OpenCPN.
But honestly, I would buy if you have a charts of
Yeah.
Panama, which it's
Yeah.
possible to buy. I
You
would do
buy, yeah.
definitely, yes,
And it could be a
why
good
not?
price. You know, it can be like $30, whatever. It doesn't have to be expensive.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's just not question of price. You will have a perfect solution.
Yeah, and it
if
can
you
save your
sail
boat,
here.
right?
Yes, exactly. Why not?
Yeah. And but the problem is some charts are really precise and others are a little less precise. So once people use it on the chart plotter, like what happened to the Neko guy, you know,
Uh-huh.
they start going very close, and they start assuming every chart has the same precision, you know. So what I'm doing right now is getting all the charts up to a certain quality control to then release them electronically. Like I want to get them
Okay,
all
so
up
you
to the
can
same
use it
standard.
like a map.
Yeah, exactly, on the
Exactly
OpenCPN. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But before doing that, I could release them now, but I'm worried that people who have never been to Panama will end up having accidents, because the charts don't all have they all look the same, but they don't all have the same level of precision. They're all much more precise than the government ones. I mean, but they're still different.
Definitely, yeah.
But there's still little differences in precision. So I would like to get them all up to a similar standard before releasing them electronically. Yeah.
So you have one person who is going to buy this chart.
Thank you. Hopefully more than one.
Okay, good. Okay, so now it is a final book like this one,
Yeah.
and the sixth one will be in electronic, or it will be paper and electronic.
Yeah, no, paper and electronic.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because for me, I'm a man who using only electronics charts.
Mm-hmm.
I never use any paper charts because I don't like it.
Yeah.
But when I was cruising here in Panama,
Yeah.
I'm all the time using book.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's very difficult to match, you know, where I'm now in a
Your
book.
overview.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
I agree.
But it's good one, but it's
Yeah.
difficult to use because it is so many details
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's too.
The thing is,
many details
with
on
paper, I mean, this book has, I think, 550 pages. So, but still, you run out of paper space. Now you can either give detail or you can give overview, right?
Yes, exactly.
So usually,
Yes.
I think, okay, you can get government general chart to get a general overview, and then I use the space I have to give it the much more detail you have, right? Yeah. Yeah, if it's electronic.
No, even in a paper. Why it doesn't work? You need to reload.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice with electronic. You don't have this limitation. You can go full detail and full overview as you like it. Yeah.
How many years do you spend in Panama already?
Oh, wow. I mean, almost 20, I think. Yeah. Well, not
this-
continuously, but yeah.
No. I mean for the present time.
Yeah, yeah.
So this 5th edition, it's a result of 20 years.
Yeah, for sure.
efforts.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's
amazing
hardcore.
job.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, yeah.
Did you think to move from Panama to different places? And why you decide to stay?
Well, as I say, again, it's not like really a decision. It's more like you stay here.
But I mean, for now, when it started and when you making decision, yes, I agree.
Yeah,
So you do some task and
Yeah,
lose time. But in some period of time, you could say like, okay, I give up to live here. I want to go some different
yeah.
place. And
I mean, I'm a kite surfer. You know, I like kite surfing a lot.
my wife, she's a kite surf
yeah?
instructor. Yeah.
Oh, cool. We
And
can
I'm
go.
kite
Oh,
surfing
it's
as
windy.
well.
Let's go.
No kites.
You have no kite?
4 boards and 1 surfboard.
Okay.
For a kite surfing, by the way, if you want, you can borrow.
Yeah, no, I've got all the stuff. Yeah.
But we had a quite old kites, and we presented in Martinique
Okay.
to our friend.
Yeah.
And we have now only 1 6 square meter because it's quite new.
Yeah.
Core.
Yeah.
But the rest we don't use.
I think the one thing that's missing in Panama is the strong wind. You know, I like strong wind. So, I mean, places we could potentially go, maybe Canary Islands. I like them. It's a very nice place. But Panama has a lot of things going for it. It's very small, which I like. It has the 2 oceans. It has the Atlantic, the Pacific, mountains, rivers. You know,
No, it is a very big diversity.
very diverse in a very small space. So I like that. And it's got good connections, you know, to flights and everything.
Fly to US, to fly to Europe.
It used to.
No, right now, even right now.
Yeah, even right now you can fly. Yeah. I think all these passports, if you look at history, like before, this used to not exist. You used to be able to travel from all around the world. Like 500 years ago, you could travel all around the world, and people would not harass you. Like
Yes,
unless
because you have guns in your ship. You know?
Yeah, well, some people still have guns in their ship. But I think if you come to a foreign land and you were a nice person, then there would be no problems. If you become a bad person and people have problems with you and you make problems, well then okay. You know.
But honestly, I cannot say that there's any problem around the world with the passport. Only French Polynesia we need to have a visa to get,
Yeah.
and maybe in a few places, but the rest it's possible to travel. Okay.
Yeah.
It's right now it's changed because of COVID. Tell me about your family. You have a big family.
Yeah, you can hear them, right?
Yeah.
Kun je nog meer kracht maken, kindertje? Kun je nog meer kracht maken? Yeah, so my parents, my story, yeah. Well, I was born on a boat actually, in Greece, you know, a long time ago.
Yeah. 40 something.
Yeah, a long time ago, yeah. And then we sailed to the Middle East. We sailed in Israel a lot. We spent a lot of time in Israel, and in Turkey and Greece and the East Mediterranean. And our plan was to go to India, to Goa. And then just before crossing the Suez Canal, we had a problem with the autopilot. And for some reason, then we were always going, east, and then we started going west. And then we spent some time in Italy. My sister was born in Italy, in Elba, a very nice place.
Elba, I've been in Elba.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And then went to Elba, France, spent some time in Italy, some more time, and then we went to Spain. Spain was very nice. Yeah.
I spent a few years.
Yeah, very nice.
I like it.
And I've got an older sister, older brother. They both live in Mallorca. They have a diving business. Yeah. And from there we came to Caribbean, and yeah.
You change your plan, and instead of India, you decide to go to Caribbean.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, and then the plan was to go to Polynesia, but then kind of got stuck here in Panama, and yeah.
So it's almost halfway to Polynesia. So you cover it.
Yeah.
Done, halfway done.
I like, to me, it's always like, I think when you do something, like you have to have like kind of purpose. You know, like
Exactly, I agree.
Some purpose, no?
Yeah.
Like you
what for I go there?
Exactly, yeah. If you just go to say I've been, that's not enough. You know, there has to be some other purpose. And somehow, Panama, there's a lot of things to be done. You know, and then Panama did some other stuff, did some real estate stuff and whatever. And there's always a lot of things to be done. You know. Yeah.
Because it's still developing.
Exactly.
And it is with a very good background.
Yeah.
And so you can speak with the people in one language. I mean, not a language like a Spanish or English. I mean, people can understand you. What do you mean? Yeah.
I think, for example, like in Panama, for anybody who comes here, I think there's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of opportunity because a lot of things are very, like you said in Ukraine, it's some very inefficient, no?
Yes.
Work is very inefficient. And here in Panama, I'm sure it's worse. Like it's maybe the world's most inefficient in many things. So it sounds bad, but at the same time, it's a great opportunity.
No, it is an advantage.
Yeah. If I would have,
in some way.
I've had friends, they started business here and they're all done very well, like usually, you know.
But do you live on a boat or do you live in a...
I have a house in Panama. Yeah.
But mostly, as I see, you spend all the time in the boat. So.
Well, it depends on the moment, you know. Like now with the Corona, you know, I spend a little more time here, and then I work in Panama on a big catamaran, and we go back and forth.
Love water, or
they love both actually. You know, for kids, it's for them I think good having both. They can be at home at the house and have their friends, and they can be on the boat. For them, it's important to have other kids around. You know.
But here in Marina,
there's a lot of kids. Yeah. But then they have their friends, you know, which are their special kids they know, and
But I think here in Marina to find friends is much easier because many kids are all around.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you are in a city, you need to go in a special place.
Yeah. Well, no, the place we live is it's a little town right by the Panama Canal. It's very nice. Like you can walk everywhere.
Is it safe?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
Because I know in Panama sometimes it's not really safe.
No, but this is like a little place. It's right by the Panama Canal dredging division, and it's basically only foreigners living there.
Ah, okay.
So it's really nice, and we can leave the house. Sometimes I go and leave the house open.
Sometimes it's possible to do in Marina to leave your boat open as well. So
but that's because there's this watchman with a gun, right?
Yes. No, it's a different story. It's a hiding under carpet, but still you can.
Yeah.
Eric, tell me about your project. What are you developing now? What are you doing now?
Yeah, well, can't talk about all of them.
The kids project.
But I think that one that's interesting for people, maybe I'm developing an anchor, like a new type of anchor. It's,
really?
It's I started as a kid. I don't know if you're familiar with anchor types. There's like the claw anchors, there's the fisherman anchors. There's lots of different types of anchors, right?
Yeah, but now you know that's a rock.
The rock. Yeah, the Rockna. The Rockna is a good anchor, but it's actually a copy of a previous development, which is the.
It's only marketing.
Yeah. It's the Bugle anchor. It's the original roll bar anchor.
Yep.
It was developed early 1980s by Rolf Kaczirek, and I actually met Rolf Kaczirek in Turkey when he was developing the original roll bar anchor. The design actually comes from ice anchors in Poland. So it's people that were anchoring and put the anchor in ice and snow. You need a very big fluke area, and the normal fisherman anchor would not work. So what he did then, he developed it with a roll bar, and he's the one that actually invented this whole roll bar concept.
Yeah, because it's turning upside down. A few times I tried to put it on upside down, but no way.
It flips.
Just definitely go in a proper position, and after you get it in a ground.
Yeah. And I think one of the important design aspects of anchors is how much tip weight there is. So if you throw the anchor on the ground, I mean, first of all, of course, it has to turn into proper position by itself. And then there's the tip, right? The flick that penetrates the ground.
Yeah, it could be different angles.
Different angles, exactly.
I think that's the most important.
That's important, yeah. But what's also important is how much weight is on it. Like what is the force pushing into the tip?
Okay, yes.
So when you throw the anchor, it will rest on 3 different points, right? On the shank, on the side, and on the tip.
Yes, exactly.
So for example, with CQR, right? CQR anchor, you know it? Yeah, so CQR was invented 1933, and it's called Coastal Quick Release. That's what it stands for,
Coastal
CQR.
quick release.
Yeah,
Ah,
CQR.
maybe I know. It is like a flapping.
It's a flapping, yeah.
Ah, okay. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
I'm using it in a dinghy.
Yeah, yeah.
The small one.
And this used to be for decades, from 1933, used to be always the standard anchor. The thing is that has a tip weight of about 10%. So if you have a 100 kilo anchor, you're going to have 10 kilos pushing into the ground on the tip, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So then the next anchor, the bugle anchor, had like maybe 22 to 25% pressure on the tip. The one that's developed by Rolf
Because it's a
Kaczmarek.
weight
Distribution.
divided. Yeah.
Yeah.
Distribution weight on it. Yeah.
And then the Rockner is actually a little bit higher still. It's about 30%, 30% tip weight. And then the one I've developed has 52% tip weight.
It's extremely more efficient.
Yeah, like it's over half of the weight rests on the tip.
Okay.
So that means that, let's say with a 50 kilo anchor,
it is a
you have 25 kilos. So you would need a 250 kilo CQR to get the same level of pressure.
You need a or smaller anchor or better hold.
Yeah, I would never recommend smaller anchor. It's just you're gonna have a more secure anchoring experience. A boat weighs maybe 50,000 pounds, and now you wonder whether you get the 30 pound or the 40 pound, the 10 pounds. 0.001% of your boat weight. It makes no difference whether you have a 30 pound or 50 pound. Your boat performance is going to be exactly the same.
Yes.
It makes no difference.
Yeah.
And it makes a lot of sense to have a bigger anchor, I think.
In my boat, I had a Delta from a factory.
Oh yeah.
Delta I don't like.
Yeah,
It's
it
a
works
pet.
in sand, but not in weed.
Only sand, but
Yeah.
weed, rocks.
It doesn't work. Yeah.
It doesn't work at all.
I know.
And it was not only bad, but also the weight of it was on a top limit of the boat. It's like size less.
Yeah.
And
bad.
from my first year, I was so many troubles with it because I was
Drifting, right? Yeah.
just drifting.
Yeah, it's very bad.
Fortunately, I did not hit.
No,
anybody.
but because you were careful,
I
right?
could not sleep. It was nightmare. Of course, I bought a different anchor.
Yeah. No, I think anchors are key, and I mean I've been in the Caribbean in several hurricanes, and if you have the right anchors, you can take almost any wind. And the other thing you can do with anchors, like the anchor I'm developing, it's designed to go one behind each other, so you can link them behind each other.
We called it Zug.
Exactly. Yeah. So you can do it with any anchor, but this anchor is specifically designed to work even better when you do that. So, if, say you have a hurricane, you can
like chain another
exactly.
one,
Yeah.
and you will be more secure.
exactly, and you could have and it's also designed. The ones I have here are prototypes, but the final ones will be collapsible. Designed for manufacturing, so it's cheap to manufacture. For example, the Rockner, the shank, it's made from high-strength steel. So what they do to get more tip weight, they have made it thinner, the shank, and the fluke thicker. So the part that's lying on the ground is thicker, and the shank, the long part, is thinner. To be able to make it thinner, you need to use high-strength steel.
Okay, yes,
So
because it could be bent.
It could be bent, exactly. Yeah. So the high-strength steel is much more expensive, maybe 5 times more expensive, and also it's the high carbon content, so it rusts much faster.
Yes, exactly.
So
now I have it's a little bit yellow.
It starts rusting. Yeah. And the other thing that can happen, like Rockner had this problem. They had and the Chinese, they make in China, and the Chinese, they started using normal steel. Instead of the expensive steel, they switched to this cheap steel.
It's just a problem of quality control.
And then it bent. They had a lot of bent problems.
Really?
Yeah. Before
I never met any problem with a bending because
Yeah.
I live on a boat. So it's the first time when I stay in marina for many years.
Yeah.
So
No, but this just happened for one moment. They then noticed and they corrected the problem. So this is not something that didn't continue. They just had this flaw for a while.
Okay. But they solved the problem.
They've solved the problem, exactly. Yeah. And the anchor I'm designing, it's all made of regular steel, like mild steel. So you get the strength out of the design, not by using high-value materials.
Okay, so it could be with a better price value.
Yeah, exactly. It's designed for manufacturing. And also that you don't need expensive forming processes to build it. So you can use very simple tools to build it. You can build it fast.
So now you are working on project. You want to make an anchor, which will be good holding, better than
any other ones. Yeah.
With a better weight rate.
Exactly. Yeah.
And cheaper.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Not possible.
You'll see it. I consider the best anchor. I'm going to test it against all other anchors, and only if it is really better than all the other anchors, scientifically proven to be better, then okay.
Let's make a test of your anchor, because
Okay.
I have it on the final stage with development. Let's make a good video about it. If you want, we can make we can compare it with Rockna and Delta, because I have it in my boat.
But do you have? I try to make full-size tests. You know, most people do tests with like small anchors.
We can use
full
a
size.
full-size
Yeah,
boat
exactly.
for a test, no problem.
Exactly. What I have, I'm gonna do it with a load cell, so you can record the data.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
And what anchors I have the Rockna, I have the Mantos, I have the CQR, I have the Bugle anchor. I'm talking about anchors which are not of mine to compare, right?
I have.
You have the Delta, right?
Yes.
So this is basically the main anchors. You can compare against all the main anchors and see if it performs better.
Let's do it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, can you show me your anchor?
Sure, man. Let's go. Yeah, so here you can see I've got a whole collection of anchors. And usually when people see this, they think that I'm extremely paranoid and that I think there's a hurricane coming any minute, because they see I've got 10 anchors on the front here.
Looks like.
This here is the original Bugle anchor. This was developed 1983 and patented.
So it's just its original one.
This is the original one, yeah. And this was, as I said, this was developed 1983 by Rolf Kaczmarek. It was patented in Germany. You can still find the patent online. And this is the original roll bar anchor. Every anchor you see that has a roll bar is a copy of this one, including the Rockna, including the Manson Supreme, including the Mantus. All these anchors are copies of this original one. And mine as well. Mine is also a copy of this original one. So what we're trying to do is improve upon the original design. The shank, there's a lot of difference in it. For example, you can see the shank is continuously curved.
Yes.
It has a continuous curve in it. And this is designed with finite element analysis. So we do computer design to maximize the strength of the geometry.
Yes.
Well, if you look at, for example, the Rockna, it has a lot of corners in it, right? It has a hole here, and it makes it weaker, right? Yeah. Or this the original design too. It is not optimized. The strength of the metal.
Straight one and that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Why do you use these teeth?
The teeth, yeah. This is actually right now I do also modeling and how it penetrates the ground in very hard grounds. So you can see some don't have it. Here you have 4 prototypes, they're all slightly different. This one is smooth, this one is serrated. This one is smooth, this one is serrated. So I've done computer simulations on these, and I'm now going to test in the real world whether these tooth actually increase the performance of the anchor. Yeah. So I'm going to have a load cell. What I've done comparative testing right now is what I do. I put 2 anchors out, I put a pulley between the 2, and I pull on the pulley. So what happens then is the anchor with the least performance will end up on the pulley, start to drag. Exactly. So this is a very precise way to compare anchors. Because you know, as a sailor, like your anchor here, it works well, your anchor over there, it doesn't. Why? Because maybe there's a patch of grass, and maybe there's sand. The bottom of the ocean changes. Exactly, yeah. So if you do an anchor test, you throw the anchor in, you pull, this one works. Then you throw the other one, oh, this one didn't work. They're not always that scientific. So the method with the roller is very precise, because you go with the diver, you put it in the same conditions, the 2 anchors, and then you have the same amount of pull on both. And this is quite a fair way of comparing the anchors, I think. You shouldn't say Rockna, you should say the competitor.
Okay. We will not tell any brands. Brand number 1
You're giving them free publicity here, this is not good.
Nobody knows about what does it mean, this shape. Especially from a sailor.
Exactly.
People who never put any anchor on you in their life.
Don't say the R word.
The darkest night is all